Your radio on air online, Lake 96.1, Saturday at the 70's during a Homemade Hitmakers Month from the album The Band That Made Milwaukee Famous. It's Bad Boy with the cut from that album, Disco. We're talking with Steve Grimm of Bad Boy about their days as a national recording act. Who are your local contemporaries in Milwaukee that you were performing along with back around the time that Bad Boy broke?
You know, Milwaukee, I was talking about it today. I work at a music store, and, you know, it was a wonderful place back 25 years ago because we were lucky. I mean, we had ZMF up here, which was a kind of a pirate radio station.
Oh, sure, I remember.
But I must admit that WRJN were really the people who broke a Bad Boy.
Really?
Oh, yes.
I was not aware of that.
When we first came out, Jim Cahill, who works with Styx, I believe still, was working there, and he was quite a digger. And he and a couple other guys did a daily dose of Bad Boy, because, I mean, essentially we were from Racine.
Right.
Had grown up in Racine. So some of the other bands, I mean, I think Yipes was one band that got a national record deal.
Yeah, and they had Pat McCurdy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Off Broadway was another band that we worked and played with several times. There weren't a lot that got the break, but I know those were two. I'm sure there was one or two others. They don't really come to mind. But I mean, you know, it was a wonderful era because seemingly melodies were kind of important, and there was a certain charm to the 70s and the 80s that, you know, it doesn't exist today. You know, it's if you look at a Billboard Top 100, you won't see too many rock bands on there.
Yeah, that's true. Things have changed radically since then, and that's one of the reasons why classic rock is so big, and that's one of the reasons why our program is so listened to, simply because people miss the music of that era. What do you think the difference between the music then and the music that's coming out, even the rock these days? What's the difference between the two, Steve, in your eyes?
I think the real big difference is the presence of the guitar. Back then, it was a guitar-driven music. Today, yeah, you might hear a guitar here and there, but you certainly won't hear that Marshall blasted, overdriven guitar today, except for maybe occasional solo, or maybe a slight, you can kind of hear it in the background. It was a powerful thing to stand in front of a 100-watt Marshall. Today, you bring those into the clubs, and the club owner will say, "You're too loud already."
Right.
I don't have to play a note. So, as much as I love that amplifier, as I said, there just wasn't the charm in the songwriting that there was back then, as far as I can see. Certainly, there's still good bands, like Nickelback. I think it's a great band, and that's maybe the exception because they do have powerful guitars.
Right, they do. You're right.
But we had that charming era of acoustic and electric guitars blending in, like the Youngbloods or whoever it may have been. And I think that was kind of neat. I still like to play that way.
The one thing that I noticed in regards, I was thinking about exactly what you're talking about one day, in regards to the fact that there aren't a lot of guitars in the music of today. I guess the one thing that I thought of is trying to think of a song that has popped up these days that has a real recognizable guitar riff. And you really have to you're hard-pressed to figure that one out.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, Nickelback is probably one of the only guys. It was, our music was kind of like almost blues-driven by a guitar lick, be it, we came from the blues to Chuck Berry into the Stones and the Kinks, and even, Day Tripper by the Beatles was all driven by a guitar lick. Today, that same lick might be more or less a synthesizer or something.
Of the material that you've done on those albums from the 70s, those two major label albums, what would you say among those songs, what were your favorites?
Well, the one song we still really play whenever we do get together, I Do Not Write, is called Machines. And that song is kind of a futuristic, robotic society. And that song seems to have stood the test of time. Thinking of You was really the first song that broke the band. We still will play that on occasion. Joe Lucchese wrote a good song, one called Shake Me Up. On the second album, it was kind of much more the same rhythm and blues with a pop tinge. And I Just Want to Love You is one of those tunes that kind of, you can kind of tell which ones stand the test of time.
Sure.
And what was cool, and they don't do this today, even when I go record today, you try to catch the lightning in the bottle with the band playing. We're actually in there playing with the whole band. And that's the way those records were done back then. Today, you got a click track, and you sync up a drum machine to it. You send the drummer and the bass player. There's not too much magic or mystery to it all. That's where the charm was. That's where the Stones were. They all played together and made this magic, And you worked on it until you got that cut the best you could.